taste is very interesting, a little sulfury. But that's what it's for. Rich in macro and micro elements, mineral content. The Saint Stanislaus water. He was killed here in 1079 AD. Intense story. More on that later. Around 1000 AD, originally built, St. Michael's Basilica, site of where Saint Stanislaus was his name, local Polish saint, wanted to unite the Polish people, and he's a real nice person. Was killed in 1079 AD. Because of his disagreements with the Polish king at the time over the secular society and divisions. And he became a martyr for the Polish cause. The cool thing is this church was built on an even older pagan temple from the Vistula tribes that were here for hundreds of years before that was built. Whoa! See, nothing like this before. Around year 1000 built. St. Michael's Basilica. Little is known about the Slavic Pagan people and their beliefs. It came before Polish Christendom, but this makes sense that their site of a pagan temple was right on the Vistula River. Maybe it had something to do with worshiping the river, the god of the river. Who knows? A lot of pagan beliefs had really cool nature elements to it, that their beliefs and things are lost to time because of the changing of their regions. I think that's a shame when that happens, but this church was put up on its site, a former pagan temple, around the year 1000 or so. They know it was here in 1079 when Stanislaus was the bishop and murdered here. Additions made, over the centuries, 1400s and 1700s. Still here today, St. Michael, like my middle name. So Poland to this day is still one of the probably most Catholic countries on earth. There's a handful of them, Mexico, Italy, Philippines. There's many different regions of the world. Obviously, Catholics are in every. So Poland to this day is one of the major Catholic countries of the world for several reasons. There's a lot of them that are other ones out there from all over. Philippines, Mexico, España, Italy, and Poland. You know, going through times of the Reformation. We made it through that. One of the favorite popes, John Paul, is from Poland. This church been here over 1,000 years. Built on the site though of a pagan temple, which is incredible. I wish I could learn more about that. No one wrote down all these amazing, incredible thousands and thousands and thousands of year old traditions, which I think hold validity and a secret to something that's connected with everything, including this religion and all religions. Just my belief. I wish I could talk to someone from those old times. There's a lot of mysterious things going on with this church that are really interesting. Up top there's the all-seeing eye. The eye inside the pyramid, Masonic Knights Templar maybe symbol on the $1 bill of the US. There was all these statues in there of religious things that I videoed a second ago that were incredible. I think everything's connected, man. So Poland, majority of Poland Catholic right now. Obviously a lot of historic, beautiful churches. But actually this is the gate into the Jewish neighborhood. Jewish have a long history of being in Poland also, speaking Yiddish, and this is what their neighborhood, which was carved out after this church was built in the 1400s. We're gonna go in there now and learn about that area. Kazimierz. This is the first stop. So as we're walking out here, these ancient walls leading up to this old basilica, 1000 AD built. We'll say Saint Micheal is the name of the place. That is my middle name. Saint Micheal is my favorite saint. It's a semi-mythical saint. He's often depicted with a sword, stabbing and killing the devil below him. Which makes sense, man, to like my philosophy. I'm deep down, have seen evil things in a way, but deep down, that's what I want to be doing. Saint Micheal, like my middle name, Micheal, is dope. He's a warrior angel for doing things for the good. Snakes, killing them. So as we're walking out here, these ancient walls leading up to this old basilica, 1000 AD built. We'll say Saint Micheal is the name of the place. That is my middle name. Saint Micheal is my favorite saint. It's a semi-mythical saint. He's often depicted with a sword, stabbing and killing the devil below him. Which makes sense, man, to like my philosophy. I'm deep down, have seen evil things in a way, but deep down, that's what I want to be doing. Saint Micheal, like my middle name, Micheal, is dope. He's a warrior angel for doing things for the good. Snakes, killing them. Another thought I was having there was there's a lot of symbolism and things that you see, and this was a whatever religion they were before being Catholic temple here, maybe over 1200 1500 years ago, first ever built. And they really had to convince, and there's another really cool church right there. They had to convince people with animistic and different kinds of beliefs. They don't really know what they were here. Like, obviously in Rome and Greece, we knew about all their gods. In Egypt, they wrote it down, the stories, and made art. But I think there's a connection between everything. You look at the symbolism of Catholicism with the sun and the Trinity and the crowns and the all-seeing eye. It's related to paganism, man. It's all one. They just used it again. It's my real belief, man. All right. Part of Old Kashmirish. This is the Old Synagogue. This is a first for me. A little crowded down here, that's okay. You see something this old that is Jewish. It's really interesting. Built between 1475 and 1500. The Old Synagogue I. One of Europe's oldest synagogues, it says. Let's check it out. It's outside. Cool. 1475. We'll go with the earlier date. It says late century. All right. Side note. Just learned it was rebuilt 1550 AD. They have a lot of tours out here in the Jewish quarter. A lot of people interested in it. So it's unique and it's tragic because of what happened to the people that live in this neighborhood. Whew, heavy to think about. I've read somewhere 65,000 people from this neighborhood. This is a good shot here. The Old Synagogue, 1475, 1500 built, rebuilt after a fire, 1550. One of the oldest synagogues in Europe. And really, I want to know more about how it works. Oh, what a day. Good, interesting experiences. Got the music playing. I have to double check this synagogue back here, built either 1402 or 1492. Suffered some damage in a fire, rebuilt to this current state, 1550. Jewish quarter, Krakow. Synagogue number 2, 1650 built. Also, not fully functioning and can't go inside. I want to go inside one of these old synagogues, man. It's locked up. Anyways, this one's called Issak, which means the cause in Hebrew. Been here since 1650. Pretty long time. Used synagogue for the praying place of Jewish people in the neighborhood of Kashmir. And I guess it was during the war, you know, they're big, nice buildings, were used as storage houses, as obviously they were no longer used in World War II. And now this is a big hipster tourist kind of area, which is interesting. Old Jewish quarter. 85% of people from here. 65,000 people. I want to see inside though. Dang. I'm walking by it again. Issak Synagogue. After further reviews, 1644 is the building date. Oops. 1644. Right there. Whoop. Many synagogues here. Another first. First, rest in peace to the dead, of course. Built in 1557, synagogue and Jewish cemetery, a Polish Jews or Jewish people that lived in this city. It's incredible. A little bit different rituals. You put rocks on top of the gravestones. I guess is a thing symbolizing something. But I've seen paper on some other ones. Beautiful grounds, man. Never seen nothing like this before. Very interesting. Kazimierz, Krakow. Rest in peace. That was cool. First experience. First old synagogue ever. 1557 built. That's incredible. Got to go inside one. That completes my tasks of going to, in the last 10 months of traveling, 5 of the major religions of the world. 6 if you include the Chinese style Buddhism, Taoism mixture. But I have never been to something like that. First time ever inside. Didn't even know the correct ritual and prayer. I wish someone could have told me. Very cool. 1557. Krakow. La High. This church, built in 1226 AD, which is incredible, was outside the city walls, which is also interesting because it was kind of hard to get here. It had the defenses. The walls were built after. That's not the story. This church is significant because of its age, 1226 AD, which is very old. But it was the church of many, many people's very favorite pope, who was the pope in my life growing up, John Paul the Pope, who was the first ever Polish pope, the first non-Italian pope for 522 years. This is where he was a priest. He was from Krakow before becoming pope. You know, yeah, let's check it out. Ancient church, which is awesome. Florenska is the name. 1226 AD. Awesome. Two for one here. So behind me, St. Barbara's Church, built 1338 to 1402, and the massive St. Mary's Basilica in the center of Old Town Krakow, which is a towering, crazy building. St. Barbara's is also very nice, but St. Mary's Basilica, built between 1200 and 1250 in the beginning days of the city, heavily damaged by the Mongol invasions. Not completely destroyed, but you know, what we have today was rebuilt around 1300. I could probably find the exact dates with a little more research, but for this video, we'll keep it as that. 1300, around, rebuilt to the state it is today. St. Mary's Basilica, in very crowded summertime, touristic Krakow. But still amazing. I'm gonna go inside. Ooh, look at the size of that dog. Anyway, Krakow, this center square here, was the beginnings of the modern city we have today. More on that story soon. St. Mary's Basilica, the square of the city. Down that alley, Santa Barbara's Church, like Santa Barbara, California. I love that town. And we have people from all over the world enjoying this place. We are too. St. Mary's Basilica is pretty impressive. Oh, I always like exact dates. Maybe I'll find out later. But this, once again, St. Mary's Basilica, One of the coolest buildings definitely in the whole area. 1200 to 1300. Through the times of the Mongol invasions it was here, which it had to be fixed after that. But that's when the building as is was built. Probably more renovations were done at other times, blah, 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 of course. But the best, coolest part about it was no World War II damage. Damage from the 3 Mongol invasions, or Tartar they're often called, and damage from 1655 Swedish invasion are the only 4 times the city's been damaged in war. I like that. So this small church is significant because the church here was originally built around 1000 AD. This structure was added to that around 1100 to 1110 AD, before this grand square was started. And really the beginnings of the city of being Catholic in the first place, which is incredible. One of the oldest structures in Krakow, if not the oldest, potentially. Saint Aldaberts, which is something totally different in Polish. Wojciech, Saint Wojciech. Wow, look at this area, man. Lots of people are here. This church stood the test of all those years. Almost 1,000 years old. So, like I said before, World War II barely scratched Krakow, but there was 4 attacks, 3 of them by the Mongols or Tartars in the 1200s that destroyed a lot of buildings and things. And a less destructive one, but in 1655, Swedish invasion of the city, Swedes, which this church, St. Nichalus, built in originally 1226, was destroyed, 1655. Rebuilt on the original design in 1680, after the Swedish were repelled from the city. St. Nicholas, like Santa Claus. Man, we're on a church and synagogue marathon the past couple days. I like it. 1680 is the official date of this building. Instagram video. So, these Polish Catholic churches and their amazing artwork and symbolism. I've been noticing something. You can't really see it. Hold on. Let's go over there. Let's get a little closer. Ooh, all the saints and Mother Mary, Jesus Cristo. They're all about, they still are kind of all about that kind of stuff. For sure in Poland. Hey, do you. It's all good. This, though, is a symbol. An eye inside a pyramid above Jesus' head there, surrounded by angels. The angels and Jesus isn't what I'm talking about. It's the eye, the all-seeing eye. The pyramid, obviously from Egypt, originally. The eye inside the pyramid, also seen on the $1 bill, is a known Mason, Grand Mason symbol. Why it was put here in Poland, 1680s, who knows? Well, this old church, a little bit off the beaten path. Whew, it's kind of hot today, 90 degrees. Anyways, we have it all to ourselves. Wow. That's really cool. St. Nicholas, 1680 rebuilt. Original church was outside the city walls area down, just a little ways. Why it's not crowded? Probably for people who live outside, the villages around the main city. One thing I keep seeing in the Catholic symbolism of Poland is the all-seeing eye in the pyramid of God. It's up there at the top, right there. Like the $1 US bill. Interesting. Obviously, the pyramid comes from Egypt. The all-seeing eye is also a Masonic symbol. But I don't think the Masonic lodges were around here. Nevertheless, I might be wrong. Who knows the connection of all that? But interesting symbolism nonetheless, and the sun coming out of the amazing organ up there. Whoa. These videos, some of them I made today are longer than 1 minute, so not Instagram worthy. I guess it'll be for something else. I've been liking my videos today. Look at this artwork. It's incredible, man. There was some big time Jesus love going on in Europe. In Poland, that's for sure. For centuries and centuries and centuries. And saints and all that kind of stuff. Grand Mason is not what I meant. The Order of Masonic Lodges in America, Scottish Rite, I believe. You know, secret society for the good of people. They say that the all-seeing eye is God watching down, even though they're not religious. Anyway. No opinion on them, the current state or anything like that, but it's the mysterious stuff about it is really cool. You know, I like them. They're cool, man. I'm cool with Masons. It's all good. But those symbolism here in these Polish churches, I keep seeing the all-seeing eye in the pyramid tied to the Knights Templar. Crusaders definitely came from Poland. Who knows? The ancient pagan beliefs maybe of Poland is connected somehow with the all-seeing eye in the current church is crazy, man. I love that stuff. More on my talking of and thoughts about secret societies. So, you know, you had the Teutonic Knights that came through Poland. They were kind of like the Knights Templar. You have the Illuminati, which, you know, who knows what that is. There's a lot of conspiracy about that. And a lot of hoo-ha, I believe, usually around hip-hop. There's several other things like that. Oddfellows is another one. Masons, you know, Catholic Church, the Vatican in a way is kind of a secret society too. Many things are institutions, especially that go deep into history. The symbolism of them, man, and wow. Yes, I was just thinking the Habsburgs. So the Habsburgs is this family and group that, you know, through many centuries. I haven't looked up the exact history right before this video, but basically through royal marriages and takeovers and wars and all these other things, ran and controlled a majority of Europe. And some people to this day, their descendants, they think they kind of shaped the world as we know it. Habsburgs, which is interesting, and there's a lot of strange connections with US presidents and stuff like that. Anyways, for a long time this was the Austria-Hungary Empire, which was a Habsburg thing. You know, royal bloodlines and all that crazy kind of stuff is very, very strange. More secret society stuff for sure. Can't find the front of this baby. There's two churches kind of connected here, but I believe this is Holy Trinity Church, built in 1241 AD, immediately following the first Mongol invasion of Krakow, where a lot of city was very heavily damaged. So they, you know, let's rebuild the church. After that event, yeah, this is definitely it. Wow, all right, that's nice. 1241 AD, you know, that doesn't say Holy Trinity though. Huh, well, I've been doing pretty good with my historical research. This is a nice church also. Let's see if I could get some information on that. Cool, 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 cool. Whoop. So that was deep inside this much larger church, the Holy Trinity Church, 1241 built. And how do I do this? And 1241, after the initial surprise attack by the Mongol Tartars in the city of Krakow, I would have been doing a lot of praying too. That must have been awful. Evil, unknown monster men of battle tactics never seen before, rushing into your city from origins of thousands of miles away. Must have been a terrible, terrible thing that people probably didn't know what to do with. They thought it was the end of the world, Armageddon. So they prayed at this church. And church number 1,000,000. This one's especially old though. I think that part's a little newer. Just my guess. This is the old one. Built between 1079 and 1098. And we have church number 1,000,000. This one's cool though. I'm thinking this is the older section. This one over here is also amazing looking, but I think maybe a little newer. I'm not sure. Built between 1079 and 1080 AD, which is incredible. Almost its 1000th birthday in a couple decades. That's pretty old. On one of the oldest streets in the city, which I thought was built in 1200s. Obviously was here earlier when this church was made, right? This is pretty cool. That lineup of statues. In front of that one's pretty crazy looking. And the old stones of this one are so cool. Let's check it out. Come on, let's go in over here. Almost 1,000 years old. This church, the final of the day, and all most historic churches of Poland I saw in one day. This one's especially special. Well, first the history. Original church built 1453, was destroyed in 1655 by the Swedish. 1659, rebuilt. Especially special to me because it is called Saint Bernadine of Siena, which, like my grandfather Bernard and my mother Bernadette, is named after, I believe, the same saint. My Saint Bernard. Bernadine. So sometimes there's lots of saints with the saint names. You know, I'm not an expert on saints, but yeah, it made me think of my mama, Bernadette. This is for you. I like this church in Poland. 1237 to 1269 built. St. Francis of Assisi Church. Pretty old too. Pretty cool. Oh man, so many churches. Something up there. It says 1904. That's probably an addition. Anyways, I like St. Francis. This one, there's a bunch of different St. Francis. I believe this is the St. Francis that is the environmental saint. I know, well, most Christian, Catholic, really most religious things in the three major religions could care less about the environment. It's actually part of the reason why we have our problems in this world today, because of things like the plants and animals of the world were put on earth for us by God, blah, 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 BS. But St. Francis actually... Hey, back to St. Francis. I like him because he's environmentally minded. He said we should pray for the birds and the trees as well as people. And off the top of my head, I can't think of some of the other stuff he did, but he was one of the rare people of his time that actually cared about nature, contemplated about nature. St. Francis, he was the environmentalist saint. One of my favorites because of that, and the other reasons is, like her shirt there, SF San Francisco is named after St. Francis also. Same guy. Let's go inside, check it out, get a little spirituality on again, and what a day. Woo! St. Francis.